The Roman Empire, a name synonymous with power, grandeur, and the march of legions. But even the mightiest of empires can crumble. By the 4th century CE, the Roman Empire was a shadow of its former glory. Power had shifted eastward to the newly established capital of Constantinople. The Roman legions, once the undisputed masters of the battlefield, found themselves increasingly stretched thin. The Germanic tribes, sensing Roman vulnerability, grew bolder. The stage was set for a clash of civilizations. In 410 CE, the unthinkable happened. Alaric, the king of the Visigoths, sacked the city of Rome. The Eternal City had fallen to the barbarians. Over the next few decades, the empire continued to fragment. The Western Roman Empire ceased to exist in any meaningful sense long before Odoacer's coup in 476 CE. The seeds of the Western Roman Empire's demise were sown long before the barbarians arrived. Economic instability and a crumbling infrastructure weakened the empire. The Roman army, plagued by manpower shortages, recruited barbarians with little loyalty to Rome. The arrival of the barbarians merely delivered the final blow. Among the tribes that shaped Europe, the Goths stand out. The Visigoths clashed with the Romans, culminating in their victory at the Battle of Adrianople in 378 CE. They eventually sacked Rome in 410 CE under Alaric. The Ostrogoths, under Theodoric the Great, established a kingdom in Pannonia. Both tribes demonstrated that they could build and govern. The Vandals embarked on a journey that left a lasting impact on the Mediterranean. Under King Gaiseric, they crossed into North Africa in 429 CE. They established a kingdom centered on Carthage and launched devastating raids. Their control of North Africa had a devastating impact on the Western Roman Empire's economy. The Huns, led by Attila, emerged from Central Asia, leaving a trail of destruction. Their arrival in Europe scattered tribes and hastened the fall of the Western Roman Empire. Attila's reign of terror culminated in the Battle of the Carolingian Plains in 451 CE. The battle marked a turning point in Attila's westward expansion. The migration period was a time of intense cultural exchange. Germanic tribes brought their own languages, religions, and social structures. The interaction between Roman and Germanic cultures resulted in both continuity and change. The linguistic landscape of Europe was forever altered. As the Western Roman Empire fell, a new Europe began to take shape. The migration period was a time of creation, with new political entities emerging. The collapse of Roman authority created a power vacuum filled by ambitious warlords. The new kingdoms were ethnically diverse, reflecting the complex migrations. Roman law, language, and culture continued to influence these new kingdoms. Among the many Germanic tribes that rose to prominence in the post-Roman world, the Franks played a particularly significant role in shaping the destiny of Western Europe. Originally from what is now the Netherlands and northwestern Germany, they gradually expanded their territory southward and eastward, eventually establishing a kingdom that would become the dominant power in Western Europe for centuries to come. The Franks were initially divided into several smaller kingdoms, but under the leadership of Clovis I, who became king in 481 CE, they embarked on a series of conquests that unified much of Gaul under their rule. Clovis, a shrewd and ruthless ruler, is credited with laying the foundations for the Merovingian dynasty, which would rule the Frankish kingdom for over 2 centuries. Clovis's conversion to Roman Catholicism in 496 CE was a pivotal moment in Frankish history. By aligning himself with the Roman Catholic Church, Clovis gained a powerful ally in his bid for power and legitimacy. The Church, for its part, saw in Clovis a potential protector and a champion against the Arian Christianity practiced by some other Germanic kingdoms. The alliance between the Franks and the Roman Catholic Church would have far-reaching consequences for the development of Western Europe. It helped to consolidate the Frankish kingdom and paved the way for the emergence of a close relationship between the Frankish monarchy and the papacy. This relationship would reach its zenith under Charlemagne, a later Frankish ruler who would be crowned Holy Roman Emperor in 800 CE. Section 3. Anglo-Saxon shores, a tapestry of kingdoms. While the Franks were forging a new power in mainland Europe, a different story was unfolding on the British Isles. With the withdrawal of Roman legions from Britain in the early 5th century CE, the island was left vulnerable to invasion. Germanic tribes, primarily Angles, Saxons and Jutes, crossed the North Sea and began to establish settlements along the eastern and southern coasts of Britain. The arrival of these Germanic tribes marked the beginning of the Anglo-Saxon period in English history. Over time, they pushed westward and northward, gradually displacing or assimilating the native Romano-British population. The process was gradual and often violent, marked by both conflict and coexistence between the newcomers and the indigenous inhabitants. Unlike the Franks, who unified much of Gaul under a single dynasty, the Anglo-Saxons established a patchwork of smaller kingdoms. These kingdoms, including Wessex, Mercia, Northumbria and East Anglia, engaged in frequent warfare with each other, vying for power and territory. This period of political fragmentation and rivalry would last for centuries, shaping the political and cultural landscape of England. Despite their political divisions, the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms shared a common language, culture and legal system. They developed a rich oral tradition, which was later recorded in written form, giving rise to the English language and literature. The Anglo-Saxon period also saw the spread of Christianity to England, initially through missionaries from Ireland and later from Rome. Section 4. The Visigothic legacy blending cultures. In the Iberian Peninsula, the Visigoths, having sacked Rome in 410 CE, established a kingdom lasting over 2 centuries. Initially Arian Christians, they converted to Roman Catholicism in the late 6th century CE. The Visigothic kingdom blended Roman, Germanic, and Christian traditions. They adopted Roman law and customs, integrating with the Romanized population. Their legal traditions influenced medieval European codes. Internal divisions contributed to their downfall in the early 8th century CE. The Visigothic legacy left a lasting impact on Spanish law, art, and religion. Section 1. The enduring imprint of Rome. While the Roman Empire in the West had crumbled, its legacy continued to cast a long shadow over Europe. The migration period did not erase Rome's achievements. Roman law, language, and culture were absorbed and adapted by new rulers. Roman law became the foundation for legal codes in many successor kingdoms. The Visigothic code drew heavily on Roman legal principles. Later legal codes in France and Italy did too. The Roman system of administration influenced new kingdoms. Germanic rulers adopted aspects of Roman administration. Roman roads continued to connect towns and cities. The ruins of Roman aqueducts, amphitheaters, and public baths inspired awe and imitation. The migration period had a profound and lasting impact on the linguistic landscape of Europe. Latin, the language of administration and culture in the Roman Empire, did not vanish with the empire's demise. Instead, it underwent a process of evolution and fragmentation, giving rise to a new family of languages known as the Romance languages. As Germanic tribes settled within the former Roman Empire, they came into contact with Latin-speaking populations. This interaction between different language groups led to a gradual process of linguistic change. Latin, no longer standardized by the Roman state, began to evolve differently in different regions, incorporating elements of Germanic languages and local dialects. In the Iberian Peninsula, Latin evolved into Castilian, which would later become the dominant language of Spain. In Gaul, Latin gave rise to a variety of regional dialects, which eventually coalesced into French. Similarly, in Italy, Latin evolved into Italian, and in the Roman province of Dacia, modern-day Romania, it developed into Romanian. The Germanic languages spoken by the migrating tribes also left their mark on the linguistic map of Europe. Old English, the ancestor of modern English, developed from a fusion of Anglo-Saxon dialects and borrowed words from Latin and Old Norse. Similarly, German, Dutch, and the Scandinavian languages all emerged from the Germanic language family, their development influenced by contact with other languages and dialects. Section 3. The rise of Christendom, a unifying force. Amidst the political fragmentation and cultural upheaval of the migration period, a new unifying force emerged in Europe: Christianity. The Roman Empire, in its final centuries, had embraced Christianity as its official religion. And while the empire's collapse initially led to a decline in the church's fortunes, it ultimately paved the way for the rise of a powerful and influential religious institution. The Roman Catholic Church, with its hierarchical structure and universal message of salvation, provided a sense of continuity and stability in a world torn apart by war and migration. The Church, with its network of monasteries and bishoprics, preserved literacy and learning, serving as a repository of classical knowledge during a time when education was in decline. The conversion of Clovis, king of the Franks, to Roman Catholicism in 496 CE was a watershed moment in the history of Western Europe. Clovis's conversion, motivated by political expediency and genuine faith, aligned the Frankish kingdom with the Roman Catholic Church, giving the Church a powerful protector and helping to spread Christianity among the Franks and other Germanic tribes. As the Frankish kingdom expanded, so too did the influence of the Roman Catholic Church. Monasteries and cathedrals were founded throughout the Frankish realm, spreading Christianity and promoting literacy and learning. The Church played a key role in legitimizing Frankish rule, anointing kings and providing them with spiritual authority. Section 4. Shifting Sands, the making of Europe. The migration period, a time of unprecedented upheaval and transformation, marked the end of the ancient world and the birth pangs of a new Europe. The collapse of the Roman Empire in the west, the migrations of Germanic and other tribes, and the rise of new kingdoms reshaped the political, cultural, and religious landscape of the continent. By the end of the 6th century, the outlines of a new Europe were beginning to emerge. The Frankish kingdom under the Merovingian dynasty had emerged as the dominant power in Western Europe, its alliance with the Roman Catholic Church laying the foundation for a close relationship between church and state. In the British Isles, the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, though often at war with each other, were forging a new culture and identity. The migration period was not a clean break from the past. Roman law, language, and culture continued to exert a powerful influence on the new kingdoms. Christianity, embraced by both Romans and barbarians, provided a common faith and a sense of unity in a fragmented world. The Europe that emerged from the crucible of the migration period was a more diverse and dynamic place than the Roman Empire it replaced. It was a world of multiple kingdoms, languages, and cultures, a world where the legacy of Rome mingled with the traditions of the Germanic and other peoples who had reshaped the continent. The migration period, a time of both destruction and creation, laid the foundation for the development of medieval and modern Europe. Echoes of the past. The dust has settled on the ruins of the Roman Empire. The once mighty legions are no more, their eagles lowered. In their place, a patchwork of kingdoms emerged, yet the ghost of Rome lingers, a whisper in the language of law. The migration period did not erase the Roman legacy. It was a time of assimilation, blending Roman and Germanic traditions. The Roman legal system provided a framework for emerging kingdoms. Latin evolved into the Romance languages, a testament to Roman influence. The Roman Catholic Church emerged as a powerful force for unity. The Church provided a common faith, transcending political boundaries. Monasteries preserved classical knowledge and spread literacy. The echoes of Rome are faint but undeniable, a whisper of their former glory. Section 2. A continent forged anew. The migration period was a time of profound transformation. From the ruins of the Roman Empire arose a new Europe, forged in migration, warfare, and cultural exchange. The Europe we know today is a product of this era. The migration period shattered the Roman Empire but sowed seeds for new unity. Christianity transcended divisions, shaping European civilization. The legacy of Rome lived on in law, language, and institutions. The echoes of that era still resonate today.